Hello everyone. Today let's solve the problem number 1164, product price at a given date, right? So what the question states here, we have to write a solution to find the prices of all the products on 2019 8/16, means 16/8/2019. So we need to write a solution to find the prices of all the products on 16/8/2019, right? We have to assume the price of all the products before any change is 10. Just assume the price of all the products before any change is 10. That's what they have given in the question. This is important. So again, I'm telling we have to write the solution to find the prices of all the products on 16/8/2019, nothing but 2019. So we have to assume the price of all the products before any change is 10. This is very important, right? Just keep this in mind. So we have the products table here. So we have the products table here, which consists of the column name and type. Column name, we have product ID, new price, and change date, right? So these three things, product ID and new price is of the type integer, and change date is of the type date. This one you can clearly see, right? So I hope this is clear. So product ID is nothing but the ID of the product. New price is nothing but the new price of the product here, and change date is nothing but date when the price was changed. Basically here the primary key would be product ID and change date. This one, product ID and this one, change date. So these two would be primary key, right? So let's come to the example part now. Just give me a second here. So this is laggy today, I don't know why. Just give me a second here. Yeah, we have the example here, means we have the products table here, right? So we know that the products table consists of the product ID, new price, as well as the change date, right? So here we have the product ID 1, 2, and 3. So product ID may contain duplicates. We have duplicate ones, we have duplicate twos as well, right? Here you can clearly see, right? So we have the product IDs 1, 2, and 3, right? So the new price they have mentioned here 20, 50, 30, 35, 65, and 20, and the change date they have mentioned here. So in the question, what they have asked us to do basically, so we have to write a solution to find the prices of all the products on 16/8, this one, 16/8/2019. You can clearly see this is the only thing, 16/8, this one, right? 16/8/2019, and we have to assume the price of all the products before any changes. What do we call this one is 10. The value 10 they have given in this case, right? So what we will be doing here is first thing, the product one had a price that got changed to 35 on 2019 8/16 or 16/8/2019. So this one I'm speaking of. Product 1 had a price changed to 35 on 2019 or 16/8/2019 here, right? So this one I'm speaking of. Product 1, this one, 35, this one, direct, this one I'm speaking of, right? So product 1 had a price change to 35 on 2019 8/16 or 16/8/2019 to 35. This is one thing, and this we will return. And product 2 had a latest price before 2019/08/16, means 16/8/2019 as 50. You can clearly see product 82 we are speaking of. First one, this one I am speaking of, right? So this one, right? So I hope this is clear. Product 2 had a latest price before 16/8/2019 as 50 on 14/8/2019. Here you can clearly see this one I'm speaking of, the second one and the change date, right? So this will be 50. So first one was 35, price change, this one we considered. Here we have already considered this one directly. This was 35. Second one was 50 here in this case. So now let's go with the product 3. Product 3 had no price change before 16/8/2019. So here you can clearly see. So we have only 18/8/2019. So product 3 had no price change before 16/08/2019 at all. So default we have to go with 10. So previous I said in the question same thing several times, that if we have no value before change, then the default value we have to give is 10. That's what they have mentioned in the question. So I have said this one several times. So here we will be going with 10 in this case, right? So here we will be going with 10 in this case. So for 1, we went with 35. For 2, we went with 50. For 3, it is 10. So this is the solution that we need to return. So these, the left side, these are the product IDs, and this is the price. So we can return this one in any order. So here they have mentioned 2, 1, 3, 50, 35, 10, right? So we have given in the ascending order 1, 2, 3. Order doesn't matter. They have not strictly asked us to maintain any order here. So order doesn't matter. We can give the, or we can return the output in any order or result in any order, right? So I hope the question is completely clear. This is what we need to do basically, right? So this is what we need to do for the particular product ID. 1, 2, 3 we have. So we have returned here 1, 2, 3 with 1 with the price 35, 2 with the price 50, and 3 with the price 10. We know how we got this price, right? So I hope the question is completely clear. What we need to do is completely clear as well, right? So first, as usual, let's discuss the approach and then write the query. First, let's discuss the approach. So here, let's discuss the approach step by step. The first step here is for each product ID. So here, for each product ID, we have to find the most recent new price on or before 2019. This one, 16/8, basically 16/8, 2019, right? So for the each product ID, we have to find the most recent new price. This is very important. New price on or before 16/8, 2019. So this is very important step. So if no price change exists for a product, so if price change doesn't exist for a product, so then we have to go with the default value 10. We have already discussed this one, right? They have clearly mentioned in the question. So if no price change exists for a product before 2019, 0816, nothing but 16/08, 2019, then we will assign the default price of 10. So we will be assigning the default price of 10. That's what we will be doing. And the third step here is combine. We have to combine both cases to get the final result, right? So we have to combine this one, product ID as well as the prices for the particular product IDs. In our case, in the example, we had product IDs 1, 2, 3, which was basically we had the duplicate values for 1 and 2, but we need to consider this one as ones, right? So as I've said in the question while explaining the question, for 1 we had 35, I guess. For 2 we had 50. For 3 we had some value, I forgot. So let's consider this one as 10. Yeah, default value, right? So there was no value before, there was no price change before this one, 16/08, 2019. So we considered the default value 10 in this case, right? So we have to combine both cases to get the final result. This is price ID and this is price. So sorry, this is product ID and this is price. We have to combine both to get the final result, right? So this is the approach that we'll be going with. So this is very simple to understand, right? So now as we know the approach, it will be easier to write the query. Now let's start writing the query. So here the first step was, if you remember, so we have to select the latest price change on or before 16/8, 2019 for the each product. So let's go with here CTE, right? As let's make use of the CTE, right? Here in this case, as let's go with select keyword. Here we have to select the latest price change, right? So I'll just go with here product ID. I should have copied this one. This is fine. New price and change date. So let me copy this one, new price, and we have to consider change date as well. So let me copy this one as well. So here in this case it will be change date. So we have to go with the row number as well, right? So I'll just go with the row number that is provided by the SQL. So row underscore number. So I'll just go with over here. So we will be making partition by product ID and we will order by change date. Nothing but we will be going with the descending order, right? So we will be going with the descending order or the recent date, right? So we must go with the recent date. That is the reason we will be making use of the order by. First thing is we will be making use of the partition by based on the product ID, and we will go by order by in the descending order, right? So how can I articulate or implement that one in the form of query? I can just write here in this case partition by this one product ID. So let's go with order by here change date. So this one will be descending order, right? So I'll just give here as RN. This is fine. This is basically coming from products table, right? So let me copy this one. So this is laggy from 2 days. I don't know what happened. So it's very laggy basically. So I'll just paste it over here, products. So where change date has to be less than or equal to 16/8/2019, right? So I can just make use of where keyword here. So we have change date here. This one, let me copy this one quickly. So change date, just give me a second here. This has to be less than or equal to 2019/08 and this one 16. This is fine. So this is the first step that we went with. Basically, we were selecting the latest price change on before 16/08/2019 for each product. Now let's move on with the second thing. If no price change exists before the date, then we have to set the price to default value 10. So in the example one, if you remember, for the third one, for the product ID 3, we didn't have had the date. If we didn't had the price change before the date, so we considered the default value 10. That we need to articulate in the form of query now. So let me give here select p dot. So I am going with the product ID right here. So let me copy this one in this case. So let me paste it over here, p dot product ID. So let's make use of if null keyword, right? We have, if no price changes before the date, we have to set the price to default value 10, right? So for that reason, I'll be making use of if null keyword here. In this case, c dot new underscore price here. So this one, let me give 10 here in this case as price. This is fine. So this, let me go with the from keyword here. So after this one, we have to get all the distinct product ID. So we had the duplicate product IDs here. You can clearly see we have the duplicate product IDs in the product table. So we have to get only the distinct product IDs 1, 2, 3 here in this case 1, 2, 3. We can return in any order. In this case, we have 2, 1, 3 means 1, 2, 3. Only distinct product IDs we have to get, right? So for that one, we'll be making use of the distinct keyword. You would have already guessed this one, right? So SQL provides the distinct keyword. We'll be making use of that one. So we have to get all the distinct product IDs to handle the cases where no price change exists at all, right? So this is coming from, so let me make use of parenthesis here. So I'll go with select distinct product IDs, right? So I'll just copy the same thing over here. So this one, let me paste it over here, product ID. This is coming from products table, right? So let me come here. So let me copy this one and paste it over here, products P, right? So we will be making use of the self join or left join here in this case, right? So left join CTC on. So I'll be making use of on. Self join we are doing. So I'll go with p dot product ID equals c dot product ID. P dot. So this one, let me copy this one here entirely. P dot product ID equals. So here c dot product ID and c dot rn equals 1. This is fine. So this is it for the query, right? So let me hit the run button, right? Let me hit the run button. So what happened here? Just give me a second here. So here you can clearly see, just give me a second here. Yeah, here you can clearly see the sample test case is getting passed, right? So let me hit the submit button quickly, right? So let me hit the submit button quickly. So let's wait for some time. So yeah, you can clearly see here all the test cases are getting passed. Means the query that we have written works absolutely correct on this case, right? So I hope whatever query that we have written is completely clear as well. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.